Hey, it's me coming at you again for another 5-minute car review on the movie Moana 2, which I just saw for the second time. Those have been looking at all these videos, I don't know, TikTok stuff, For You pages. I'm old, so. But if you've been watching them, what I like to do is come out after I see a movie, and while I'm processing my own thoughts, share my thoughts with you, just give kind of the most honest review I can of the film. Like I said, saw it the other night before we saw Wicked, so I wanted to give it another fair shake because Wicked's feelings kind of overwhelmed it, and you can go see my other review for that. Again, TikTok stuff, and I'm old. But Moana 2, I really liked it. There's some things, first I guess, start off with that I didn't so much care for. As a Disney cartoon, I thought the music was a little weak. Probably very obvious that Lin-Manuel Miranda was not part of this, and as an age-old, decades-long Disney fan, I always love in certain time periods of Disney seeing that connective thread of the composers. So you had like the GOATs, the Sherman Brothers, and their era of Disney, where you can see the common musical thread through all the films, the live-action films, the cartoons. If you want to go back and watch all those, Sherman Brothers, amazing. Obviously, their music still plays in the park. Go see the documentary about the Sherman Brothers. How can you not love the Sherman Brothers? Obviously, Saving Mr. Banks has them portrayed too. So, and then you have, obviously, my growing up years was the Ashman, Menken years, the Disney Renaissance, right? You have that connective thread. And then, like, recently, we've just really had that Lin-Manuel Miranda period through movies like Encanto. That's had its kind of theme, with it in it. And I kind of miss him in this. There's not really a catchy tune to walk out with in this like you'd normally find in a Disney movie where like, oh man, even in Moana 1 we had Shiny and we had You're Welcome, and I'm sitting here thinking about it now and I can't actually like catch one of the major tunes in my head. So I would say that in itself is probably the weakest part of the movie, is just like having that Disney punch song, right? That everybody sings, that everybody knows. That sets up the movie. But that being said, I thought it was a solid second outing. A lot of times people put out that second outing film, and it's definitely an emotional core to this movie that I would say, yes. I've heard some people asking me about the level of taking kids to it in terms of kind of the darker themes of loss that exist in this movie. I'm not going to give anything away, but we've dealt with that, I would say, in almost all Disney movies. So it's in that same level. I mean, obviously, you can go back to Bambi and his mom, and you can go Peter Pan, the loss of childhood, Dumbo, and what happens to his mom. And I hope I'm not spoiling anything. These things are like 70 years old, but I'd say it's on that level. I would say on a Disney level of darkness and loss, I would say the darkest movie I've ever seen that shocked me the most in Disney cartoons was Hunchback of Notre Dame, when the hot oil scene. Like, oh, is that Disney? This, not so much. This has a beautiful memory of loss. I mean, even if you think about Robin Hood, there was like 5 minutes where we thought Robin Hood got shot off the tower and he was dead in the river, and everybody was sitting around the camp not singing Oodalali. So I'd say it's on that level, and then it handles it beautifully throughout the film. Not something I think you need to worry about, like kids seeing darker qualities. They've seen all the Disney movies. If they've seen any Disney movie, it's the same level. So I'm just repeating myself on that. The story's great. Some people say it's a repetitious story. I think it's a nice continuation of a story, and it looks like it's going to keep continuing, hopefully, through it. And I'd say the same kind of thing about any of the Disney sequels later. And I'm always jazzed for a Disney sequel that's animated, rather than Disney pulling its old properties. I'm really rooting for Disney, and as an old school Disney fan who my parents used to rent the VCR back in the 80s, that's how old I am, when you had to rent a VCR because they were $1,000, and we'd rent all the old live action movies, No Mobile, Darby O'Gill, The Little People, which I still show on my birthday, St. Patrick's Day, all the great old Disney cartoons. And so I'm a Disney fan from way back, and I'm rooting for Disney to succeed. I feel like Disney is like, oh, we got original ideas, we've got too many properties that we own, and we can't focus on one and the other. As an economics teacher, talking about, focusing on one thing over the other, not putting all your eggs in one basket, guns and butter, I suppose. Disney concentrating on its animated features, which is its heart and soul. And I'd say, yeah, this is Disney putting its all into this. Great animation, so beautiful. Again, I said that with Wicked too, but God, I'm a sucker for a movie that has a broad perspective and a palette, because, you know, grew up on these animations, and even the computer animation, it's so realistic. And there was a point when I looked at Maui and I thought, wow, he's like a human at this point. So I've gone long on this. I say go see it. Great story. Might not leave you a toe-tapping song to sing out with, but it's satisfying, and I got emotional. I'm gonna admit it. I get emotional at cartoons. So sorry, 5:30. Hey, go see Moana.